yes, green Tara does have, she actually does have a sense of humour. Looks like someone's just stuck in the waiting room. Just try and wait for them to get in.
They probably aren't stuck. It's just because you're not the host. That's happening with us.
Mm. Yeah. Okay, so I think I'll start. Yeah, so we've been having this series of talks. I've had a talk on the lotus family generally, and then we've had lovely talks from Vimokshani on Amitabha and Arya Jaya on Avalokiteshvara. And we're basically talking about our yidams, the three of us. So I'm going to talk about green Tara. And we were running with this theme of them all being in the lotus family, and Maitridevi muttered the other day and said, she's not, she's in the karma family. And I thought, is she? And I thought, gosh, I should know this. And then I thought, oh, that's really interesting. So you're probably all familiar with that lovely Midnight Star Puja that Vasantra wrote a number of years back. So that is to Samaya Tara. So she's the consort of Amoga Siddhi. And that's the karma family, so associated with action and unobstructed success. But then you're probably also familiar with Tara, the birth of Tara, which Vasantra also describes in his book, Meeting the Buddhas, where Avalokiteshvara weeps a lake of tears. It's his response to the suffering of the world. Out of compassion, he just starts to cry. And he cries a lake. And then out of the depths of the lake, a lotus arises. And in the lotus, when the lotus opens, is the beautiful form of green Tara. So you couldn't get much more lotus family than that. So I thought, oh, that's interesting. It's like she doesn't particularly want to be in just one family. I don't know whether there's other figures who straddle different families. And I thought it said something about Tara, both that she's got this active, engaged side to her, and also she's got this sort of organic, unfolding side to her. So, and she's got traditionally 21 different forms, and they include white Tara, who is very much in the lotus family, in the Padma family, and Curricula, who's a fantastic red semi-Rothbald Darkini form, who's also in the lotus family. And then we have Kadiravani Tara, who I think might be my favourite. She's a sort of wild Tara of the woods. And Tara has 108 names as well. And so some of her names are, well, she's the morning star. So she's a figure that we can navigate by. And she's also the one who ferries across. So she ferries us across the ocean. She ferries us across from Samsara to Nirvana. She's a savioress. She's a lunar goddess. She saves people from the 8 great fears. So she's pretty versatile. And if you look at Tara, I don't know, you can probably see her behind me, and you're probably very familiar with her form. she's got this very, it's beautiful sort of left and right sides to her. The right side to her is this very active, compassionate side. So she is completely stepping into and entering into the world. So her foot's down, stepping into the world, and her hand is outstretched into the mudra, the Viradha mudra. So it's supreme generosity. So her whole right side is active and outwards. And then her left side is tremendously still. So deep meditation, one-legged meditation, and the other hand in front of her heart. And it holds a spray of lotuses. And also it has the gesture. It's a sort of fearlessness gesture, but apparently with the 3 fingers pointing upwards, it's the protection of the 3 jewels, the protection of the true refuges, or how things really are. So there's a relationship there between fearlessness. If you take refuge in what is completely reliable, in a way, there's grounds for you to be fearless. And maybe it says something about her generosity and her compassion, is that it stems from this fearlessness, this fearless heart. So she's very much the archetypal compassionate warrioress, I think. And it's very fitting that we spend an evening with her on this retreat. As well as her origins from Avalokiteshvara's tears, she's also got a quality of earth goddess to her too. Historically, her archetypal form has come out of a very ancient earth goddess form called Drudha. So she is born both out of water and out of earth. And just before I came over to the Tara cabin, I was listening to some music by Hildegard of Bingen, who is a medieval saint and polymath, philosopher, composer, mystic. And she composed a piece. The piece I was listening to was to the Green Virgin. And she had a word that she used, viriditas, which in a way she's talking about divine, the divine green life, or the divine nature. So that's something that I find very compelling. Maybe it touches a bit on my personal connection with Tara, which is what I wanted to talk about a bit now. So like Arya Jaya, I also started off with Vajrasattva when I got ordained. And for various reasons, that sort of came to an end, not quite as smoothly as Arya Jaya's ending. He blew me up. So that was interesting. Anyway, so that kind of got resolved. And then I had, I suppose what I'd had was some very strong spiritual experiences. I don't know what you call them, but something that completely so it felt deeply transformative at the time, completely changed my sense of who I was. And I went on a retreat, and I went on a Buddha-filled retreat, which was something I used to love to do. And Kamala Sheila was leading it, and he was introducing the retreat, as you do, and you get people, you know, you focus maybe a bit more on energy and discipline and introducing new practices and lots of information. And it was just awful. It was completely awful. And it took me about 10 days out of the 2 weeks before I went to him in floods of tears and said, I can't, I just can't do any of this. I just feel like I've been totally blown apart. I can't do what you're teaching. And he looked at me and said, oh, well, you need assimilation practices. And I said, do I? I'd never heard of such thing. It wasn't like there is a particular thing called an assimilation practice. It's more that whatever helps you assimilate what has already happened rather than trying to generate something. So it was in that retreat, after he'd said that, I suppose I was lying on the ground one sunny day, and this thought arose. It came up through the earth, and it was that I should take green Tara as my yidam, which was a bit of a surprise because I wasn't thinking of that at all. But that's what I did. And I suppose it's only been just thinking about it on this retreat. I think I was just starting to get a bit more conceptually clear about what that was about. And I'm not actually sure, I don't feel very sort of confident I can explain it right now, but I'll have a go. I'll have a go. So I think what the reason that she appeared for me was I had a question which was, okay, so I've seen something, something's happened, something really significant has happened after practicing for decades with not much happening. And I really want to be able to embody that. I want to be able to let what I've seen transform me. In a way, to have some sort of insight or seeing and not be able to live it seems pointless. So what I was wanting to do was work out how I took any sort of experience I'd had and live it out through my being and through my body in the world, to be completely authentic. So in a way, I was wondering about how to take almost, if you want to put it in a dualistic way, spirit and bring it into matter. Yeah, how to embody something. And I guess in a way, this is what I both want and imagine more generally, is a sense of the world, this physical, elemental, material world, transformed by awakening. And on the eve of his enlightenment, we have this story of Siddhartha being challenged by Mara, who says, well, he has various challenges from Mara, but the final one is around doubt. And Mara just says, who do you think you are to sit on the diamond throne, the Vajrasana, where all the Buddhas of the past have gained enlightenment? Who do you think you are to do that? And the Buddha touches, the Buddha-to-be touches every part of his body, and then he touches the earth, and the earth rises up, the earth goddess rises up and bears witness. And in a way, that rising up is a little bit similar to Avalokiteshvara's tears and Tara rising up out of the lake. So there's something for me about when something is touched by truth, there's a rising up, there's a response, there's an embodiment that can happen. And that is what Tara is for me. She's the rising up of the body, the earth, our being, of matter, of the world in response to the Dharma. What that means for me, though, is that that matter matters. The physicality, the cells of our body, our soma, all of that gets transformed in the spiritual path. Our bones, every aspect of us, the earth, the land. And that that it does get transformed, well, in a way, I think it has to get transformed, and that it can get transformed means that it is, to my mind, sacred already. Anything that can actually has the potential to awaken is sacred. So how I think about it is that this land, this world, this body, this life, matter is all sacred. It's all of the nature to awaken if the conditions are there. And it's all particular and it's all unique. And it's all of immense value. So I think and in a way that's why I'm here at Tara Loka. I suppose this sense of, and here is a place that's quite literally dedicated to this green goddess, this earth rising, this awakening land, and it needs protecting and caring. So I guess that's why I'm here. There's something about seeing the world and the land as the body of Tara, or the Tara Kaya. It also means that because every place and every body and every location is particular and specific and unique, there's something about valuing that as well. So for me, it feels really important in Tibet. They have their deities and their images, and in every country we need the images and the deities, not the lotus at Tara Loka, but we have a water lily. We don't have a Bodhi tree, but we have an oak tree. So that sort of honouring of the particular in each place is also, for me, part of, I suppose, my practice around Tara, of what Tara is. And all of that is to do with assimilation. All of that is to do with how the Dharma lands into the world, into this particular time, into this particular place, into you, into me, into this earth. Yeah. And I just wrote, what I'm trying to do is it's a sort of yearning towards an earthed, unshakable, embodied, witnessing presence. That's kind of what I'm yearning towards, and this presence is a sort of awakening presence, like dynamically awakening, belonging to no one and part of everything. Yeah. So that's my particular sort of connection with Tara. It feels quite different from Arya Jazz. I was sort of listening to her yesterday and laughing, thinking it almost feels like the opposite, but I don't think that's a bad thing, actually. I think there's both a going up and a going down that are important. And maybe it's this that we're talking about when we talk about the compassionate warrior. This, or particularly maybe what Vidyamala has been talking about this, this awareness, this sort of deep awareness into how things are, then opening out, becoming a mirror and opening out into the world. We've got these different perspectives and different dimensions that work off of each other, that in a way mean that nothing can end at a particular place. Everything keeps opening outwards. And somehow that this image of Avalokiteshvara looking down and Tara rising up kind of brings out a sort of fusion of that sort of dynamic working off each other. Yeah. So that's all I'll say about Tara and my connection. We're going to do the same sort of thing that we've been doing for the last few nights. So I'll move in a little bit and then we're going to chant the Tara mantra. And then we'll have a period of meditation. And then we'll finish with the transference of merits and self-surrender at the end. And I can actually do it in call and response here because I have got two people here. I've got Hridaya Gita and Maitridevi. You'll see them in a moment. Okay. Transference of merits and self-surrender. May the merit gained.
May the merit gained.
In my acting thus.
In my acting thus.
Go to the alleviation of the suffering of all beings.
Go to the alleviation of the suffering of all beings.
My personality throughout my existences.
My personality throughout my existences.
My possessions.
My possessions.
And my merit in all three ways.
And my merit in all three ways.
I give up without regard to myself.
I give up without regard to myself.
For the benefit of all beings.
For the benefit of all beings.
Just as the earth and other elements.
Just as the earth and other elements.
Are serviceable in many ways.
Are serviceable in many ways.
To the infinite number of beings.
To the infinite number of beings.
Inhabiting limitless space.
Inhabiting limitless space.
So may I become.
So may I become.
That which maintains all beings.
That which maintains all beings.
Situated throughout space.
Situated throughout space.
So long as all have not attained.
So long as all have not attained.
To peace.
To peace.